Bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Bhutan Dhamman Sangham namassami. You might be surprised to see me sitting here, but I am also surprised. I really was assuming Ajahn Nyanarato would give a talk tonight because he's going to travel to Thailand very soon. So when he mentioned this possibility, it became quite a surprise to me. And if I looked worried or very quiet today, this is the reason for it. So I'm not sure how it goes. I have something in my mind, but I haven't sit here a long time, so I hope. Well, anyway, I try my best. So one thing that happened to me quite recently, it's not any particular incident like this, but just a experience or encounter I like to share. And first of all, I need to explain the context. So I have a friend. He is or he has been suffering a lot. Well, I can't go to the actual details, but just to say, because of mainly, what I understand is mainly something he did in the past, something unskillful. That was the probably main reason for him to suffer, and not just a small amount. Yes, I'm not including myself. What the regret or something similar about the past is not easy to cope with, to let go or to consider in a skillful way. We are encouraged to do so, but actually, even the small thing we do in the past, we have done in the past, can cause quite trouble in our heart. But for his case, it is much more than that, quite unskillful. So because of this, he has been suffering enormously. And on the top, also, I have to say, because of his character or mental tendency, which is actually a significant part, really he cannot come out from the thinking, very painful way of thinking. Regret, sense of remorse is the main one, but also, I hope I'm correct to say, his fear of going to hell. Because I know, I can say he's also my friend. So when he was suffering, I was listening to him once or twice, listening to his story, his pain, and also I offered my reflection, although it was something unskillful, certainly, but the proportion that he is suffering, holding the issue, is too far. So I wanted to bring him proper perspective, and then more like reassuring for him to find a peace, something like this. And after the conversation or chat, he was very appreciative, grateful. But very much soon he would come back to the same place of pain, very strong, intense place of thinking and heavy feelings. So my case, maybe he came back to me once, twice, but soon I realized this is far beyond that I could manage. And I have to say, usually I am more willing to listen to people, whatever, and to share the life. It is not something I feel obliged. Actually, I feel more interested. Even if I am listening to somebody, I see it as a more mutual process. I can learn a lot, and it gives me a lot of appreciation of the life and so forth. So usually I am like, I can say I'm like this, but for this person, I couldn't see how I would manage, and just it was too much. And so, sorry, I couldn't continue. And because of his suffering, he would look for other people for any help, any opportunity to talk, any opportunity to find anything to come out from, well, you can say almost hell. But I believe, like myself, nobody was able to cope. And then I was also told later, he tried many people, even to, some spiritual teachers or spiritual masters. And my guess is probably similar kind of things happened. And people would give him encouragement or reassuring comments from certain perspective they could offer. But sooner or later, my friend would fall back to the same place. Just it's so painful, but just nobody was able to offer proper help. And I learned sometime recently, one of my friends has been offering him support by providing opportunity to talk with the person of suffering every week, certain time every week, for up to 2 years. I was simply surprised on how can it be possible. Well, yes, also the sense of this is something I can really admire. Because this is too far from what I can do, and also I know this would be how important for the person of suffering. So I was both very much surprised and also the feeling of admiration. And so one day, very recently, I had a chance to ask this friend who has been offering support so regularly for such a long time in a committed way. I just wanted to know how it is possible, what it is. And as passing, I just asked the person, can I talk with you one day? I like to know this is, I just cannot believe. Maybe if there's something I'd like to learn. Anyway, I just introduced the matter, not intending to have a proper conversation then, because just the moment was just, I was passing. And, but then this friend immediately, without pondering or having a pause, just said to me one word: patience. And the way he said was quiet, gentle, but also firm, clear. And that's it. Yes, I didn't hope for any explanation or to say nothing of any conversation, but just he immediately gave me back this one word, patience. And I have to say, when I received this word, it really touched my heart. I didn't, but I was almost fell into tears. Yes, the patience, the word patience or idea patience is something we talk quite regularly, particularly in the context of monastic training or life in the monastery. I am the same since I started my training in Thailand. This is the word repeated again and again until here in Amaravati too. And right now too, I would remember it, and also I would talk about it, and also I believe even I am practicing it, something like this. But when I heard him, my friend, saying one word, patience, I had, because it was some experience, I had to reflect on that. Why do I feel like this? And well, you can say it's reminding some very precious and important quality, and so also the word something like trusting occurred to my mind. And yes, the idea, word, patience is nothing foreign to me at all, but maybe my access to the quality of patience was somehow was dull, if you like. And when I think of this quality of patience, yes, if somebody says to me, "Oh, be patient," it's not I prefer to hear so often. Rather, I would feel, well, come on. So just almost like aversion to the word, be patient, or patience. And so when we think of patience, why do we talk about patience, or do we need to be patient? Because there's something we don't want to do, or sometimes we want to do, but we should not follow it. So often the element, what we call dukkha vedana, unpleasant feelings, is there. And then in order to cope with it, or in order to even control it, we would use the word be patient. The word itself is maybe just a genuine encouragement, but we often hold this word or this the concept in a way, again, in a Buddhist term, we would say vibhava tanha, the negative energy we apply and then suppress it or control, force things in one way or another, either ourselves or if we say to other people, be patient. Just it is a very good excuse to control people even. So it can be in a monastic context or even a society too. So I can imagine, including myself, the word patience or be patient. We know this is some significant virtue, but somehow our perception is often colored with negative or something you don't feel comfortable or pleasant about it. And today is Wednesday, so this Sunday I had an online teaching occasion with Japanese people, which I have been having last 2 years or so, every month. And so, in fact, I talked about this experience. So the theme was patience. And when the meeting was publicized, just I put some message about this incident. And then people, before the online teaching, people would send questions or comments. And my style of doing the teaching session is not just I'm sharing my understanding or anything, but also the input from participants, their question or their comment, and then I would respond to that, or I would offer reflection on that. So that's more my style of doing it. So I would say that their comment or messages are, or questions are quite crucial. And I recognize this month the theme was patience, and also I put this story I just now shared with you. I could see quite more than previous month. They sent messages about patience, and I can see part of it is, yes, just I'm saying about difficulty around being patient. I mean, we can't think because of we need to be patient, so that we have to endure everything, anything whatsoever. So people have difficulty around their life, but once the idea of patience comes, they almost like must endure, they must put up with. So that way, their question about the quality of patience, I can understand that. But also, many people raise the question about how can we be patient, or can I be patient? And in fact, when I read, it's not just single person. Many people said, how can I be patient because of this situation, because of that? And to me, actually, I almost imagined those who wish to be more patient, they are already quite patient. That's my sort of feeling I got. And so the patience, when I had this experience with my friend, just to hear the word patience, and it became a significant reminder what is the patience, or what is the quality of patience. And it's not something I have to dig within myself, or I have to fight for to find it. probably it's not like this, but just this, his word became a simple and a very clear reminder to me. So it's not about how to be patient or who is more patient or I have to be more, but just the genuine quality of patience itself, to notice or to know human quality, the quality human beings have in ourselves, in the patience. It is. I was reflecting this, and I could pick up the nourishing quality, supporting quality, or even caring quality. So I do just back and forth. At least I tend to see patience as something forceful or based on even willpower. That's why honest feelings, we really do not like it. But actually, patience itself has, more supporting quality, even nourishing quality, and it's not something very foreign to us, but we just remember it. And that was my experience when I heard the word patience from my friend. And a few days ago, Ajahn Nyanarato gave us a reflection on 10 Raja Dhamma, or the 10 qualities for a king or a leader. And one of them was patience, or khanti in Pali. And he talked about, because it was 10 qualities, so about patience itself it was brief, but he pointed out the quality about the patience in the context of timelessness. Because when we think we got to endure this, we got to make it, until a certain time I can bear. So this is really trapped in a time-bound attitude, which is actually more or less functioning from the place of vibhava tanha. But once we settle into the place of, if you like, the timelessness, then actually I believe we can learn what is really patient means, and we can our experience will be different. And when I think of this timeless quality of patience, not necessarily meditation or anything like this, but many years ago, about 2005 or 6, Ajahn Rumpo Medo, Ajahn Nyanarato, as well as myself, had the opportunity to visit Bhutan, the Himalayan kingdom, supported by some very generous lay friends. And Bhutan is the eastern edge of Himalayan range, so quite mountainous, beautiful country. And so one day we were traveling from the capital Thimphu to eastern region by car, but it is so mountainous, but also the road condition is, you can say, quite primitive. So the road is quite narrow, just one car to pass. And then the road is really well, it goes horizontally along the slope of the mountain. It means the road itself is like a snake, because the mountain had the stream and so the many valleys in between. So the car needs to avoid the valley. And Richard Smith, one of the lay supporters who organized this journey, he said, just like when we want to go from here to Stupa Field, instead of just going straight, we first go to Hemel Hempstead and come back to Stupa Field. That kind of really detour because of the valley in between. So what I want to say is it's quite mountainous, nothing flat, and most of the part was actually just very rich nature. But some part people living, and when I saw people living there on the slope, and also they had some land, probably, I have to remember, paddy field, the terraced paddy field. And when I saw it, my mind said, oh, wow. So just I immediately thought of their life. How could they manage? Because anything you want to do, you have to move vertically against the gravity. Okay, the water is down there in a valley, and then your place is, I don't know how few hundred yards, you have to climb up, and if you want to do something, you have to go down. So nothing is easy, nothing is smooth, nothing is horizontal at all. Everything is vertical. Again, movement is against gravity always. So I was amazed. And there's also immediately the word, when I thought of their life, immediately the word patience came up to me. I can guess maybe for them it's not something they have to call patience or patience or impatient. Just they have to do like this. For us, how much we can do, or how can we make it more convenient, how fast. So that is usual way of thinking. We would call it development. But the life I saw there was just the perception of time is totally different. It's just I can't find the word. Just a different perception of the time, experience of the time, and as an outsider myself, wow, this is a really place of patience. And also it made me think about the quality of patience and true to be patient like this. You can't think of the future, when can I finish, how can I make it, but just in a really day-to-day life sense of present moment, here and now. It's a very different way when we think of the meditation, but actually the life itself is pretty much just to live with each moment. That's how I perceive it, and then it made me reflect on the quality of patience too. And when Ajahn Nyanarato talked about patience as a timeless quality, and also I think he mentioned the word surrender, and that's also resonates in me. Also, I can remember Lumpos made those words, surrender to the present moment. I don't think he was using this phrase particularly not the context of patience or anything like this, rather really how to be a present moment, in a contrast to our tendency to do something, want to make, to find, and so forth, but rather surrender to the present moment. And the choice of his word is often very direct. Sometimes it's challenging, but it is pointing out the tendency our mind has. So that surrender to the present moment. Yes, it wasn't a context of patience, rather it's really practicing of here and now, or it is directly to his core teaching. But when I think of this patience or patient quality is something bridging our condition, which has a root in the samsara realm, and then quality of total freedom, or quality, let's say total freedom, and the patience is actually quality and virtue that bridges the two. That's what I like to think. Like Wada Patimokkha, you remember Kanti Paramantapotitika Nippanam Paraman. So the first two lines, the Kanti Paramantapotitika, patience, is Paraman, utmost tapotitika. Tapas is austerity. Even a Hindu or yogic tradition, tapas is really to do with self-mortification. My image is like an Indian yogi or sadhu, the wandering ascetics. Sometimes I haven't seen myself. I traveled in India quite some time, but I haven't seen myself. But people say some of the sadhus like raising his fist or hand up, just months and months and years, with the determination, or standing, never lying down, not just a few days, but years. They would use some the plate, the piece of wood, and just standing and then resting like this. So it's really strong. This is my strong image of tapas, austerity or self-mortification. And of course, Buddha wouldn't encourage us to follow that path. I'm the middle A, and then, but still I'm not good at the detail of the Pali language, but in line he says Kanti Paramantapotitika, so the utmost austerity, tapas. So why? It made me wonder, why did he use this strong word? And I may be totally wrong, because I'm not familiar, I'm not knowledgeable in Pali at all. But it reflects that how our tendency to be trapped in the samsara realm, or our innate tendency, is so heavy, deep, and what is the word? Yeah, anyway, difficult. So that's okay from the various obvious apparent desire to something more subtle, more difficult to notice, kind of attachment to views and the opinions, or up to Sakkaya personality view. So these are actually, this really layers and layers and layers our habitual or generations we think we know, but we still come back to the same place, repeat the same problem, fall into the same stories. We can't give up. We know something, but still we go there. So in that way, this stickiness of samsara realm. So when we really think of why we are trapped in the samsara realm, so to highlight on that word tapas, to come out from the samsara, kanti paramanta potitika, so the patience is utmost austerity or utmost tapas. Why such a strong word is used is for us to remember our this deep, strong tendency. And then the line goes to Nibbanam Paraman. So Nibbana is supreme, utmost. So when I see the first two lines of Ovada Patimokkha, Kanti Paramanta Potitika Nibbanam Paraman, I like to think that really Kanti, patience, is something to bridge our, the condition, you may say, having 5 khandhas and then conditioned by various karmas or various things, depending on which perspective you look from. So this limitation we need to live within. And then what we aspire to is Nibbana. And then the patience is actually the bridging quality. And then this bridging quality is as today I started talking, it's not something foreign or something very special, but it is within us. And also that the quality is not necessarily harsh, strong, and very tough, but rather more nourishing, supporting, caring, or something I would call trusting, that kind of quality. So when I heard this, my friend saying patience, I'm still reflecting on probably the word itself, also why I was so touched by this one word. I'm still reflecting. But at least this word, patience, when he said that, when I heard that, something I notice and appreciate, that silence or totality, whatever you call it, it is there. That was actually how, another word to say is how the patience is possible, how the word patient could come. When I reflect, or when I reflect that, for now, the word something like a totality or silence is behind the word, his word, patience. So it was very touching, encouraging experience, and still I'm digesting it, so some of the thing I said is not necessarily very orderly yet. But at least what I like to share today is, although patience word we use so often, we talk so often, but that quality itself, I'm learning too that it is this, I'm sorry, I repeat the same word, trusting, nourishing, supporting quality. And it is within us, and it is not something we have to work very hard, we have to force ourselves to believe, but it is there. It is available. It is there to sorry, same word, nourish us. Okay, thank you very much for being patient with me today. So let me stop now.